Hi, hello, friends, and welcome back to my page today. This beautiful Monday, it's afternoon here in Ontario, Canada, and today is actually Canadian Thanksgiving. So, happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian viewers that are out there and those that may be watching me later. And I really want to just say, um, I really appreciate all of you that taken out time to join me right now. Those that may be watching this as a replay. And if you're joining me for the first time, my name is Femi. And a little bit about myself. I used to work in the oil and gas industry in the last for over 25 years before I decided to transition into running a digital business. And in my last live video or broadcast, I shared my journey, my personal journey from working in the oil field to building a flexible digital business. You know, and well, I got some messages from some people, and I do read those messages, and I also thank you for those that sent me messages. But beyond the messages I got from the people, I just like I know that there may be some people that may be wondering how do you know what is real? Like knowing that this day there's so many things online. So this is very important to be able to differentiate between what is legitimate digital business and what is not. So how do you actually identify that? And that is what we'll be talking about today. So you know what? It can be very confusing sometimes, to know what's legitimate and what's not legitimate because there's just so much that is out there on the online space. You probably must have seen all sort of ads, uh, in the online space promising overnight success or passive income, even without any effort. There's so many people that that may fall for some of these spam, I'll say. Even though there are some of them that are real. So this creates doubt in the minds of people. So people tend to always wonder, is there anything online that is even real? Because I thought so at some point in time before I started this. There was a time I never would have thought that I was going to be doing anything online because there was this worry by a lot of people that it's not a safe place. But it really can be, and if you take advantage of it and take advantage of what is, it's good and legitimate. So before I started my online business, I knew I needed to have a change from the oil and gas industry because, like I've said earlier on in my last life, I said I used to be far away from home for working long hours and continuously 24/7 every day for long periods of time. Sometimes I'm on the rig for like 2 months or a month and a half, and for that period of time, I'm working 12 hours and 24/7, no break. And besides the impact of that in my life, was also the impact that he had on my family because I was always absent from home. So that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to have a change. And then in my search for change, I came across several things, and then some of the things that I came across were stuff that were online. you know so there were things that there were options that people would propose to you, such as requesting that you bring people and you get paid for bringing the people. And unfortunately, some of these things that they say, there will be no products, neither will there be any services involved. So you begin to wonder, so if there are no products nor services involved, and you want me to bring people and you are promising heaven and earth, then how exactly in this world do I make money? Because I mean, you can't pay me if you don't make money. So like a lot of such thoughts went through my mind, and so that by the time I found this particular business that I'm running right now, uh, I was able to do my due diligence, and there I found out that really that there are legitimate digital business systems that are out there, just like the one I run, because I found out that it has structure, it has mentorship, it has compliance, and all of this backing this business system up. And this was why I chose to go with this. And honestly, I couldn't be happier, that I chose that path. So, I mean, like we begin to find out, okay, what are the things that make up a legitimate digital business? Like a legitimate digital business must have a structure, and may or may not have automation. But, like, how can you be doing something online anyway and does not have automation? Because then that means that you're not actually, utilizing the system to its potential. If it's online, then there should be automation, right? So, there should be real tools such as having websites, automation of the system's database, that could help you, kind of like check your leads and even help you, even help you evaluate your own progress within the business, and also help you share information, to people globally. For example, like in my business, for instance, right, when you click on my on my like when you go to my website, right, and you register with your name and email address, you get a link to the free info session. Those come to you, and that comes to you through automation, right? I don't have to attend to that. That is done automatically. And then you get repeated mails constantly. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I do send mails to my leads, and I do that just to have that personal touch, right? So that it's not seen as if, this person does not exist or what have you. But besides that, automation does the work for me on the background. So I don't need to be worried about that. So it really matters that, that there's a system and automation as well. And then one other thing that you have to look at, in order for you to be able to identify whether a system or whether a digital business is legitimate or not is, does it have or does it offer mentorship, and do you have community support? This makes a lot of difference, in you between the legitimate digital business and the one that is not. Because you have to know that you're not left alone by yourself. Because most times people are coming into this business, not having any experience whatsoever before. So you need to get as much support as you can get. You need to get the mentorship that you can get, somebody that can hold you literally by the hand, and take you every step of the way, answer your questions, and help you also grow. So that support system for me in my business was one of the things that was game changing for me. Because I wasn't tech savvy, other than the tech that I knew, to run my jobs, drilling oil wells, I didn't have the tech with the internet and what have you. But I started to learn that here, doing this business, and of course, with the community, with the global community. I mean, like, with people from different professionals, from different backgrounds, learning together and celebrating wins together. That is something that fake system can never give you. You can't have a fake system. I mean, like some of you may have, if you have been on my page, right, or you can scroll through my page and you see, for instance, the pictures that I took in Chola Vista, San Diego. It was sometime in June, but I posted it maybe later than June, right? Where we had a global convention where we celebrated the 51st year anniversary of the parent company that we're affiliated with. You see people that I took pictures with from all around the world, from all over the world. And from time to time, if you see my live videos as well, you see that I interview with people from different walks of life, from different nations of the world. This will show you some level of authenticity. So I mean, like, if you can have global support, then how do you prove that a system is, that a business is authentic? And that authenticity is quite important, you know. So I mean, so I share wins with those people. You know, we attend seminars together. Iron sharpens iron, the Bible says, you know, so we build, you know, each other, one another up, you know. See, like, it's not just about building the business, right? We'll come to that eventually, but, you know, as you build the business, you, you know, like you build yourself as well. You know, there's this personal growth that we experience as well. That is very golden for me, you know. I'm over 50 years old, and then you know there's some things that you may have, you know, that you probably, you know, maybe thinking that you have known or you have learned in the last 50 years of your life on earth. But as you begin to do some of these things, right, you know, being entrepreneurial, you know, and doing things by yourself, you begin to learn some things about yourself. You begin to learn ways that you can improve yourself, you know, that will ultimately help improve your business, you know. And that leads me to one other thing that's very important. You know, if a business is legitimate, whether it's digital or otherwise, but with reference to digital business, you know, you must constantly be learning. Because if it's digital and it's online, you are dealing with platforms such as Facebook, you are dealing with platforms such as YouTube, like TikTok and what have you. And besides every other thing, things are evolving every day. You know, the platform keeps changing one thing from the other. So there's a need, you know, for constant education, constant communication, and constant time management, you know, that you have to learn. So this is so important, you know, because success wouldn't just come by chance. It's built through, you know, growth, consistency, and learning. So that learning is very, very important. So like if there's any business that promises you huge returns with zero effort or zero education, that for me, it's a no-no. That's a huge red flag. Some other thing that you need to find out, you know, in order for you to be able to ascertain whether a business, a digital business is legitimate or not, is this compliant? You know, I mean, like, is it compliant? You know, because a legitimate business will always be upfront about what you're signing for. You know, so like for instance, I'll give an example, right? Okay, so because we can't, it's not possible for us to spend all the time, you know, to elaborate on the business in on our adverts. That's why we ask people to go and watch the info session, which is free, by the way. And you know, and imagine by the time you watch that, you know, you have an idea of exactly what system is. And then we request that, okay, you pay a refundable guarantee, you know, 149 USD, you know, that will further enable the ones that are intrigued, you know, to further do their due diligence, you know, as to whether this makes sense or it does not. And what you get after paying that 149 is that not only do you get access to our Facebook, our private Facebook page where you see other people and get inspired, you get access to the commission plan. You know, you get access to knowing what's the company, the reputable company that we are partnered with. You get access to what kind of products are involved. Even though we say that we do not sell those products, neither do we store the products, neither do we promote those products, which is the truth, you know. But then products are involved. You get to see all those products as well, and you get to see also the opportunities that lies. You know, how can you optimize, you know, this business and all that. You know, you get to know all of that with the 149 US that you make payment of. And like we always say, within 30 days, you know, that is refundable guarantee, you know. But then if after you have watched all of that, you feel that, okay, this is not something that you want to do, you can ask for a refund and get it back. That is what a legitimate business does. That is what a legitimate business does. And so, like, talking about transparency and compliance as well, I mean, like, we are registered with the government. We get from tax returns papers from the parent company. Like in Canada, for instance, like I get my T4A that I used to file my tax for the business. If a business is not legitimate, you may not be able to file your taxes because then CRA, in the case of Canada, revenue agency, right? They'll be able to just fish you out. So these are some of the things that are very, very key in identifying and differentiating between a legitimate, um, a legitimate digital business and the one that is not. So, for instance, in my case, when I started this business, I had doubts, honestly, and that is expected from everybody. I was skeptical. Like on Saturday, I had a live broadcast with a dear friend and a business partner. We're talking about the fear of starting digital business, right? And then, in the course of handling that live, we talked about fear. Is beyond not doing something. Fear is uh, we should see fear as as giving us a sign that there's something better on the other side or beyond that fear. You know, the possibility for growth. If you decide to go beyond the fear and not letting the fear lock you down. So, and then and every human being has that element in him or her. It's kind of like a check that God has input into us in order for us to be able to do our due diligence. But what happens is that some people, they have that fear and they remain in that fear. But what in my case was like I had that fear, and that's what I always advise people to do. Yes, I had that fear. I had that check in my spirit, but I didn't just stop there. I decided to do my due diligence, and I found out that, okay, this, ticks all my boxes, and therefore I decided to join. But, once I joined the business, I mean, like the training platform, quite friendly training platform, guided me through every step of the way. And I learned so much, how to set up my system, the automation and all that, and this taught me also how to be able to share my story authentically, which brings me again to, you know, I've had some people call me and say, okay, I mean, that they tend to learn this business. They've seen a lot of advertisement over on this business on the internet, but I mean, like they have a problem. They can't really put themselves out there. But guess what? I didn't start putting myself out there the first day I started the business, because if you find out 98 people out of 100 within our business community were just like you, just like myself as well, very private, like never wanting to put myself out there, very camera shy. But guys, if you have something that works, if you have something that fits you, that puts food on your table and enables you to live a life that you dreamt for, a life on your terms, then nothing is able to hold you back. And that's what you find out over time, because you find all this also within the training. And as time goes by, you discover that some of those things that you thought you couldn't do, you begin to do them, because that's when you begin to see how that staying in your comfort zone will only make you broke. And if you must come out of that, then it's necessary for you to come out of your comfort zone. Like I always tell people, I say, you never experience change except you make that change happen. And making that change happen is taking action, is neglecting uh, all those thoughts, all those I can't do thoughts, all those thoughts of negativity, and begin to embrace positivity. Begin to see yourself being able to do whatever it is that is required of you to do in order for you to make that success. That's the only time that you can make that success. So this is my own personal experience, and this has really helped me not just in making income, but also about creating, that freedom, that time that I never used to have, being able to be present in the lives of my children, even though they're grown up, but at least I'm making memories that like I never made before. I'm trying to rewrite the story of my life, and I'm spending more time now with my granddaughter. If I was still doing my job, and I'm not saying that I'm discounting that job, but thank God that that job, helped me while I needed it most. But since I started this and I've been able to grow this business, and this is all I do for now, and it has given me that ample time. It has given me that time to be able to do things, on my terms and have that peace of mind. So, you know what? If you ever wondered whether real online businesses exist, the answer is yes, in a nutshell. But only when they are built on solid foundations. And it's your responsibility to check all that. It's your responsibility to do the due diligence, And I always tell people, right, some people will ask you, okay, so if I start this business, how soon do I start making money? No business that you start starts giving you money almost immediately. I'm not saying it's not possible, but businesses are built with time. You know, you've got to learn patience in the business, and you've got to learn to work hard, to put time and to put trust and to hope and to believe in what you are doing for you to have success. It requires your showing up from time to time, even when you don't feel like. It requires your being like, what's the word I want to use now? It requires you being courageous, you know, being courageous, and being courageous doesn't mean there's no fear, but in spite of the fear, you just go ahead and do what you think you need to do and expect to see results. And when it doesn't work the way you expect, rather than blaming the system that has seen a lot of people succeed, you begin to find out, okay, what is it that I'm doing wrong? And begin to reevaluate and begin to see how you can improve on the things that you have done before. Like taking advantage of your lessons learned and seeing failures that you may have had as experiences and know the things to do and things not to do. So a legitimate digital business will give you a system that works for you. It will give you mentorship and support for you. It will give you training that helps you grow, that helps you grow your business and also helps you with your own personal growth and development as well. And of course, that'll be transparency. So if this resonates with you, I invite you, watch our complimentary info. Yeah, our complimentary info session. You can watch that by going to my website. And you see, my website is just right there under my name. You see, abifem.com. Just go there. That's my website. You register with your name and your email address, and then I'll be sending you a link with which you can watch the live info. Sorry, the whether live info section or whether it's a replay info session, so that you can get more clarity. This is not just a hype. There's no pressure. It's just giving you clarity on what to expect in an online business. And well, we're in a digital age and opportunities are everywhere. Some may be genuine, some may not be genuine, but it's your responsibility, like I said earlier on, to be able to do your due diligence and to be able to find out which is genuine and which is not genuine. And so that lies on you. This wisdom that will help you, to know what to trust. But always choose learning, always choose mentorship and integrity. That's what leads to a lasting business success. I'd like to say a big thank you once again for taking our time to join me this Thanksgiving Day, this Canada Thanksgiving Day on this broadcast. And I'll see you not same time next week. I'll see you by 2 p.m. next week. I started 30 minutes earlier today because it's Thanksgiving and I have to attend to some things. So cheers and God bless you. And then I'm sure we'll be talking about something that's interesting the next time we speak here. Cheers and God bless you.